So I'm currently separating some big mother-in-law's tongue clumps and thought I'll show you how to best propagate these, especially when it comes to hybrids. This group of plants recently got a new name. They used to be known as Sansevieria but now fall into the Draceana genus. Most people still know these particular plants as Sansevieria, so I'll just keep referring to them as Sansevieria in this video. This super popular houseplant has been heavily hybridized in order to add some color, new shapes and patterns. And the results are quite stunning, but there is a bit of a problem when it comes to propagating. Sansevieria are most often propagated by separating offsets and from leaves. But when propagating hybridized Sansevieria from leaf, you are likely going to end up with an unexpected result. These succulents are super easy to multiply by leaf, and unlike with many other succulents, one Sansevieria leaf can be cut up into a few pieces. However, the hybrids tend to revert back to one of the parents when growing leaf babies. Here are just a couple of examples. The leaves are from Echeveria moonshine and a Laurenti hybrid. In both cases, the leaf babies have reverted back to Trifasciata. And same here, the leaf is from moonshine but leaf babies are Trifasciata. I've tried to propagate many Sansevieria hybrids this way, but the results are almost always the same. Because of this, in my opinion, the best way to propagate hybrid Sansevieria is to wait for it to grow offsets and separate them. And these are some of the plants I'm going to break apart. This is the only way to ensure you get a copy of the mother plant. But even this is not a 100% guarantee. Some offsets can still revert back to one of the parents used to create the hybrid. The first plant we're going to break apart is Draceana Black Gold. This pot is chock-a-block full, and to get the plant out, I'm going to squeeze the sides a bit. These succulents mostly spread via rhizomes. I'm only going to separate the bigger plants and leave the tiny babies that are just about poking up attached to a bigger piece. Technically, you can also propagate by a bare rhizome without any leaves, but this method does have its disadvantages as bare rhizomes can be very slow to grow and can die. Pulling the bigger shoots apart is fast and by far the most reliable propagation method. You can use a knife to cut them away, but pulling them and breaking the rhizome also works pretty well. I really do recommend leaving tiny bits like this attached to a bigger plant and separate later on once it's well above ground. This whole thing can be very messy. You can get the dirt off and wash the roots clean before separating, but personally I don't bother. I do, however, leave the plants out in the air for a couple of days before potting up so the rhizome wound created by separating creates a callus. Next up is a hybrid called Bantel's Sensation. It has lovely but a bit unstable variegation. I often get offsets that have lost almost all of the variegation. This cultivar is fairly slow growing but very pretty with its long slender leaves. This one is called Moonshine and grows light colored leaves. Again, I'm just going to pull this whole clump apart. And our last plant is Sansevieria cylindrica, also known as Draceana angolensis. This one seems not to spread via rhizomes. The offsets grow from the base of the mother plant and separate very easily. So here's the haul. I'll spread these out a bit and leave them in a dry but shaded spot for a couple of days. Now the wounds are dry, I'm going to show you how to pot these up. I'm using fresh succulent potting mix and clean pots. I've put a bit of potting mix at the bottom, then positioned my plant and filled back. When filling the pot, my suggestion is to not go too high, otherwise the plant can rot. It's best to not bury any leaves and not go much higher than where the roots end. When choosing the size of the pot, it's best to give the plant enough space to grow, but at the same time not go overboard with huge pots. I already have a video on this and will link it in the description. When planting taller cultivars like this, you may need a bit of support as the heavy leaves are very likely going to pull the plant to the side and even uproot it. I use bamboo sticks. You'll only need one per pot and a piece of string to loosely tie the plant to it. As with any other plant, I'd strongly recommend to do this during the growing season of that particular plant. When it comes to Sansevieria, spring and summer are best. And that is all for today. I hope this video was useful, and if you'd like to add anything or ask a question, you can do so in the comments below. To learn more about succulents, hit the subscribe button or go to our website succulentgrowingtips.com. Thank you so very much for watching.